Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Got What She Wanted. When I was in college, I worked nights as a housekeeper in the local hospital. The hospital had a cafeteria that closed at 8 PM and a snack bar that only closed from midnight until 1 AM. It was always a bear to clean, and the floors were the worst part. Once a week, some guys would come in and make the most amazing omelets. 10 times as many people came on omelet night, and I couldn't start cleaning up until they left at 12:30 AM. This gave me only 30 minutes to clean. To help me out, one of the floor crew guys helped me stack the tables and chairs, quickly sweep up the dirt on the floor with his humongous dust mop, and then he drove his Whiting floor cleaner, and floors were done in 10 minutes. He didn't have to do this, and I was grateful every time he did. 2 years later, he retired, and I got the job driving the cleaner. I loved the job and was always ahead of schedule. Since that was the case, I decided to help out the new hire girl, who was now in charge of the snack bar cleaning. We got along great, and I really felt like I was helping out. Boy, was I wrong. I'm a large man, 6'2" and 250 pounds. I'm also a combat vet, and despite being a big teddy bear, as my wife calls me, some people are intimidated by me. I get to work one evening, and my boss calls me into the office. It's the first time in 2.5 years that he has done this. He asked me about my relationship with the new girl who cleans the snack bar. I relate how I was always grateful when my predecessor had helped me with it, so I tried to pass it along. I asked why. She had filed a complaint against me for harassment. I was stunned. This lady, who was old enough to be my mother, said that I sought her out every night and forced her to talk to me for 15 minutes or more every night, and she feared for her safety. It was inconceivable to me. She never acted at all intimidated, and our conversations centered around our jobs, kids, etc. Normal work talk. My manager advised me to stay away from her and not to speak with her again. That night was omelet night. I usually didn't get one, because I was always cleaning up after them and didn't have the time. But tonight, I was famished and ordered 2. I sat there eating them with my trainer, who was a sweet old lady, my grandma's age. I had of course bought her an omelette as well. We ate and got up just as the omelette guys were leaving. The place was a mess. On our way out, the new girl asked me when I would come by to clean up the floor. I just kept walking, as though she wasn't there. As I did, my trainer told her, "He's not allowed to do that for you anymore." New girl said, "But it's his job." That's when my trainer let her know in the sweetest old grandma way that it had never been my job, but instead was just me trying to help her. Now, however, I was supposed to avoid speaking to her at all costs, so I would never be doing that again. I didn't stick around to watch her reaction, but my trainer said she almost cried when the trainer told her, "What did you expect when you threw a good young man under the bus?" I learned a couple weeks later that she was after my spot on the floor crew and thought her accusations would get me fired. I ended up changing jobs 3 months later. I heard from my friends that she tried to get my spot on the floor crew and made a big stink when she didn't get the job. She quit shortly after that. Thank God I had managers who trusted me. The next story is called Snow Shoveling. I was a kid with a snow shovel. I went around the neighborhood and offered to shovel the driveway for $5. I was getting paid. Everyone seemed grateful. One house had a resident with MS, and they were happy to pay. There was one snow-covered driveway left, but the boy there refused the $5. He wanted to pay a quarter, 25 cents. I had no other driveways to shovel, but I thought to myself that the kid was told to shovel himself and wanted to get out of it for a quarter. I took his deal, knowing he would get in trouble if I took a long time to clear the driveway, and his mom came home. I took his quarter up front, so I'm shoveling for a quarter, but for a quarter, you get half-hearted effort. I'm taking my time and doing an excellent job. Occasionally, he yells at me to hurry up. "You do remember you paid me a quarter." I'm getting there. Eventually, I'm almost done, and Mom comes home. She is furious. She demands to know why I'm shoveling the driveway she told her boy to shovel. I told her that her son agreed to pay me $1/4 to shovel the driveway. She was furious and gave me $5. Before going into the house yelling at the kid, I probably spent all my money on candy. The third story is called Keep the Change. When I take money from a customer and it's multiple bills, I always count it to verify. Not so much because I think they can't count, but because sometimes bills get stuck together. I had a customer come up and buy a pack of cigarettes. Total comes to a little over $6. She throws a handful of ones down, grabs the pack and starts to walk out. Ma'am, just a moment. I need to verify. I can count. Keep the change. So I put the 7 $1 bills in the till and pocketed the $20 that I found between them. The next story is called Ripping Her Off. I work at a convenience store and our points of sale system is in fact a POS. So sale prices have to be punched in manually. They don't register when items are scanned. This includes promotional discounts for buying more than one of a product. Most customers understand this and don't pay it any attention. However, there are the odd ones I have to explain this to. One such customer refused my answer and demanded I rescan all her groceries because I'm ripping her off. I told her that this will actually increase her total cost because she won't be getting her discounts. She doesn't believe me, so I just do as she asks and scan everything the proper way. And she was livid when her total was higher. I end up pawning her off on the manager, who explains the exact same thing I had earlier. She gets her original price and wastes about an hour of her life arguing in a convenience store. The fifth story is called Stop Mowing. My neighbors went their lower street to their adult daughter, her partner, and their children. The daughter has main character syndrome, has yelled at me to stop doing work outside repeatedly, called bylaws on me for cutting my grass at 4 p.m. on a Saturday, and more. She also refuses to help her senior parents to do their yard work, so I continue to cut half their lawn and completely care for the area below their retaining wall. It's no biggie, it's 1/4 the size of my front yard and flat. Daughter Dearest, however, has continued to scream at me anytime I pull out the mower or trimmer in my own yard. It's aggravating to say the least. At the end of May, she lost her mind for mowing the lower area of the yard and screamed at me to stop, threatening to call the police. So I did exactly that, and I stopped. Then I sent my neighbor a lovely text explaining that her daughter was clearly distressed and asked me to stop. Now, each week, I mowed to the property line, no further, and that yard has gotten bad. Last week, daughter Dearest asked me if I could start mowing the lawn again, because her mom was really mad. I declined, saying it's too loud and I might get in trouble. Today, she was out there, manhandling a huge gas mower down 9 stairs. And took 25 minutes to mow what takes me 3 minutes, before struggling to get the mower back up. The last story is called Every Sheet. I'm a truck driver, been one for almost 10 years now, and started with a new company late last year. Usually I have no qualms with this company, until yesterday. A couple of runs I've done in the past with this company have had duplicate paperwork attached to the bills of lading. So to save time and headaches, I usually scan in the signed version and call it a day. That usually doesn't cause problems, as payroll is array of duplications, and they completely understand. Recently our company was acquired by another company, and we have to do things their way. First thing they did was crack down on the duplication issue, requiring all pieces of the bill of lading to be scanned in, and not just the signed versions. They are only about 3 to 5 pages, 10 at the most, so no problem. I finished my first 4-stop run yesterday, and the shipper, in their infinite wisdom, thought it would be a brilliant idea to duplicate the first 6 pages for each stop. On top of that, there was also some miscellaneous sheets of paper pertaining to each particular stop attached in their own cluster. In case you lost track, that's 24 sheets of paper just for the duplicates. Naturally, when I finished the last stop, I called payroll and asked them if I really needed to send all the papers, or could I get away with just sending them the signed portions. According to the new policy, all the paperwork included in the bill of lading must be scanned in, or you won't get paid on the load. I pulled into a truck stop to find a transfer kiosk, as it would be the only thing that would be able to handle such a daunting task. I stack my papers neatly and start the process. 77 pages later, I was done sending everything to payroll. I double checked my work and submitted. This morning, I got a phone call from payroll. In the future, when you have so many pages, if you could eliminate all duplicate pages and just send us the signed forms, that would be great. Just got an email from corporate at 7:30 AM. It is telling me to not send in duplicate forms anymore, and they are working on rewriting the policy as to make it make sense to send in every page, unless they are duplicates. Until then, I was told, send in your signed copies, and if there are duplicate pages, just send one copy of those. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.